every story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. Our top stories tonight. APC campaign rally in Okrika, Rivers State ends in mayhem as explosions rock venue. Also in this program, Senate summons INEC Chairman Atairo Jega over elections postponement. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose dedicates Court of Appeal victory to Ekiti people. Outside Nigeria, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi seeks UN resolution in fight against ISIS militant in Libya. Thank you for joining us tonight. The All Progressive Congress governorship campaign rally in Okrika and Rivers State resulted into stampede after 3 explosion devices went off at the venue of the rally. The explosion resulted in confusion as crowds who were waiting for party leaders to arrive at the venue ran for safety in different directions. Run up to the 2015 general elections in the state has witnessed different forms of violence in the state, particularly in the area, as opposing parties in Rivers State. Okrika is a hometown of the First Lady Patience Jonathan, who has been involved in an alleged running battle of supremacy with State Governor Rotimi Amechi. Some structures belonging to the All Progressive Congress and campaign rallies of the party have also suffered attacks before now. The Senate has summoned the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atairo Jega, to appear before it, and West State is playing the rationale for the postponement of elections to March 28. But the All Progressive Congress of the Senate is insisting that security chiefs should also be invited since their adversary led to the shifting date. The Senate resolved to invite the INEC chairman following a motion by Senate leader Victor Ndomaegba, who also noted that the commission needs to justify the use of card readers for the rescheduled election. A minority leader, George Akumen, or his party suggested that the 3 service chiefs be invited to also shed light on the postponement. But Senate President David Marker gave that the invitation of the security chiefs will be determined by Jega's submission on West State. He is to appear before the Senate at 11 a.m. While Senate President David Mark insists that there is no room for an interim government under the present democratic arrangement. He said this in a welcome address to senators following their resumption from recess. Senate Mark also brushed aside suggestions that the National Assembly might be used to elongate the tenure of President Goodluck Jonathan. He appealed to politicians against using the issue to heat up the tense political atmosphere. The opposition members of the Nigerian Senate are insisting that elections must hold of the rescheduled date of March 28 and April 11. They also maintain that card readers have to be used for accreditation on the 2 days, contrary to the position of some members of the ruling People's Democratic Party. This was the position senators elected of the platform of the All Progressive Congress expressed at a news conference in Abuja. They argue that there are signs that card readers may be used as reason for further shift in elections.
Card readers will add value to the conduct of the elections. We're talking about what? Free and fair elections. Time has passed when people carry ballot boxes and papers to their respective rooms, thumbprint, and the following day we are senators, we are members of the legislature, of the House of Reps, we are governors, we are presidents. The whole world is watching this country. We have become a laughing stock. We are becoming a banana republic. The fact that we're in opposition does not make us any security risk. We are even more patriotic than those who are in government. We want elections, and card readers must be applied. They must be used.
What the card readers are used for is not for voting, it's for accreditation. There is a difference between accreditation and the actual voting. Accreditation will reduce rigging.
We are all politicians that must be ready to go to election, and any attempt to have a credible election should be the priority of all of us. I think what should be our priority now is address what Jega said was the reason. And I thought would have been more priority for us was to see those service chiefs come before the Senate and explain to us why they have postponed. Not for us to bring Jega as an ambush, really, to try to convince why the issue of card reader. That is a party position. What we should all now be, we should be patriotic. We should see beyond our party and think of Nigeria. What is important now is more important than the issue of security. I think the agenda of bringing Jega tomorrow and on the issues of card reader is a PDP agenda.
The Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, has ordered Command Commissioner for Police to recover firearms from unauthorized security outfits and agencies, including state-owned security outfits across the country. He also directed that suspect arrested in connection with illegal possession of firearms be prosecuted as soon as possible. This, according to police spokesman Emmanuel Ojukwu, is because of the high rate of political violence arising from illegal handling of weapons. He said in a statement issued in Abuja that the directive is aimed at ensuring a safer polity and the run-up to the 2015 general elections. The Inspector General of Police also wants members of the public to continue to collaborate with the police to fish out criminal elements, as well as report of any suspicious movement in their areas to security agents. Emir of Kano Mohammed Sanusi has called on residents of the Asian city to ensure they pick their permanent voters card before the March 28 deadline set by the Independent National Electoral Commission. He also urged them to shun violence before, during and after the elections. Emir Sanusi made this rallying call at an interactive section with journalists in Kano. He also called on all Muslims and Christians to pray for the success of the rescheduled elections. The leadership of the All Progressive Congress on Tuesday converged in Abuja to take stock of their campaign activities and concluded on the need to remain focused. In this address, APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari urged the party leaders to avoid mistakes that will cost the party victory, and likened the remaining weeks to the rescheduled election as extra time, and insisted that nothing short of a convincing majority win will do.
Party to go to 35 states within this time and to talk to people, but it's so gratifying that sees the faces of people from Belsa to Maiduguri, from Sokoto to Akwa Ibom State, and I would say from Katsina to Port Harcourt. People are really prepared for the change, because that crowd you cannot buy, you can only earn it. And APC has earned it, and we should thank God for that.
An Ijaw youth group known as Izoniba Global Policy Network has pledged its support for the All Progressive Congress and its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. Spokesman for the group, Ayuba Laifa. Then he said at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja that the members considered the socio-economic situation in the country before arriving at its position. The Niger Delta Group also vowed to mobilize about 10 million youth to vote for APC's presidential candidate.
To synergize with the APC, which we all know that is the only party that has the machinery and good conscience to implement or actualize the gigantic change in our country, Nigeria, which the masses have been yearning for. With the likes of Chief John Odige Oyegun, Chief Bola Tinubu, the Asiwaju of the universe, who during the Nadeko days fought the military dictatorship for the enthronement of democracy, despite all violent intimidation. We are encouraged to stake our all in this struggle.
In all the history of this country, from before the Civil War, the people of the South have been noted as those who kept the country going through thick and thin, through the period of the Civil War and the rest of us. It was the people of the South, particularly the Niger Delta, that kept this country afloat. Today, as we sit, we are not sure what will happen tomorrow. We are not sure whether the elections of the 28th will hold. The country is divided so seriously as it has never been in its whole existence, along religious lines.
Still to come after the break, APC spokesperson La Mohammed calls for the prosecution of Obanikoro and others in the alleged leak audio. We'll bring you more details after this time out. Stay with us.
Dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's Orange Flavor Multivitamin Emotion.
You're also watching CoreTV Primetime News. If you're joining us, here is a quick reminder of some of our top stories. APC campaign rally in Okweka, River State ends in mayhem as explosions rock venue. Senate summons INEC Chairman Atahiru Jega over elections postponement. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose dedicates Court of Appeal victory to Ekiti people. You can also reach us on our social media platforms, like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can as well follow us at CoreTV News NG. And for live streaming, log on to www.youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space, then news. And now Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has dedicated his victory at the Court of Appeal, which validated his victory at the 2014 Ekiti State governorship election to the people of Ekiti. While speaking to his supporters at a victory section in the city of Ado Ekiti, Fayose thanked Ekiti people for their support over time.
For the victory, and we want to appreciate our people for keeping vigil, keeping faith with the PDP and with our son, the candidate, by extension, the governor. Our prayers is that the remaining hurdles ahead of us, God will clear them. If it's not in perfect will of God, we will not be here. Yes. And because we are here for you. Yeah. We are here for the ordinary man. Yeah. And by the grace of God, we will live up to expectation in Jesus' name.
Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fashi has reiterated his commitment to the re-election bid of President Goodluck Jonathan. And while reacting to the exit of former President Olusegun Obasanjo from the PDP, Fashi says Obasanjo's exit is for the betterment of the party.
I want to tell you that whether they like it or not, irrespective of the propaganda in high levels, God has ordained what God wants to ordain. Whether Obasanjo chair his voters card or not, it is simply good radiance to bad rubbish. In fact, I am not disappointed because I know at some point Obasanjo will fizzle out.
And our reactions have not only begun to trail former President Olusegun Obasanjo's exit from the People's Democratic Party, but also the tearing of membership card at a public forum. A correspondent Oluwaseyi Adegoke went to town to feel the pulse of the people on this issue and filed in this report.
As a founding father and elder statesman of the People's Democratic Party, it is with mixed reactions that political analysts describe the request by former President Olusegun Obasanjo that his PDP membership card be torn in public by Ward Chairman. Achike Chudi described the card-tearing drama of the former president as one beneath the status of an elder statesman.
Because, I mean, if you have been following Obasanjo in the past few weeks and his conflicts with the PDP, it will be clear to everybody that a real party man perhaps will not go to the extent that he has gone. He perhaps has seen himself as bigger than the PDP, or he believes, like he says, that PDP no longer has anything, or he infers PDP really has nothing concrete to offer the country anymore, and that there must be a new direction for the sake of the country and so on.
The Lagos PDP Secretary Wahab Owokoniro, without mincing words, condemns the act.
I am really disappointed with the behavior of the former president. As an elderly statesman, I expected him to behave more maturely, even though if you have disagreement with the party and you want to leave the party, it is not decent for you to now come out in the open and turn the card. No, it's not. I thought over it several times and I couldn't even make any sense of it. I don't see the rationale behind that.
This Lagos lawyer, Chukwuemeka Eze, says the former president has been biding time to act this out.
Being a military man, he engaged in ambush. He has succeeded in ambushing PDP. It seems to me that over time, he has been marking his time to the last hour, 11th hour, because he had allowed PDP to come and reveal their strategies to him. And many of them begged him, he put them on tape, and he had allowed the other group. So now he has ambushed PDP. Many of them cannot comment because of what they had told him in secret. But if they had known Obasanjo, they should have known that he does not forgive. Having rendered him politically impotent, that there was no way he wouldn't fight like a jilted lover. And this was what he did dramatically, or melodramatically yesterday. So I think I expected him to sting like a scorpion.
Although the Lagos State APC chairman, Henry Ajomale, in his reaction, did not exonerate the former president, he, however, attributed his action to deep-seated problems in the PDP.
I believe that it is part of his anger that he's expressing against his political party. Of course, it's rather unfortunate that the way he reacted. But everybody knows Chief Obasanjo. If you say you don't know him, with his reaction to certain things, then they are not doing justice to the subject matter. Everybody knows him, that he doesn't hide his feelings, and he says whatever he wants to say. But overall, I think that he too contributed to what is befalling them today.
Many have dismissed Obasanjo's vow to remaining an elder statesman in the country. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has assured workers in the state that despite the dire economic situation in the country, his government will not retrench workers as against the fears nursed by some section of the workforce in the state. The governor made his statement in the rescheduled governorship debate organized by the Kwara State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Responding to questions from the audience, the governor says the government has no business in retrenching workers before managing the precarious financial situation in the state.
No, we will not retrench workers. Let us recognize one fact, that this whole idea of retrenching people is a military style. We inherited it from the military. You do not retrench civil servants. The civil service, as it were, is a working machine. For those of us who are familiar with what the British gave us, is a working machine that has a strategized entry and exit platform. It was because the military came with a fiat process of retrenching people in a way of sanitizing the system that people began to see retrenchment as a solution to solving economic problem. It is not. Once you retrench, you are distorting the civil service. So for us, we'll continue to ensure that entry and exit into civil service is structured to meet the services expected to be delivered. Any form of fiat retrenchment or entry will distort the quality of service.
Also used the platform to react to the recent attack on his convoy and other issues bordering on political violence while he conversed for votes from Kwarans.
We must insist as Nigerians that we must use the permanent voters card so that we can have credible elections, so that your votes must count, not what the politicians decide. Your votes must count. When your votes begin to count, then you can decide to keep Mr. A. If he does not do well, you vote him out the next time. We do not need violence. Violence does not change anything. It only leaves a bad taste. That anybody under any guise that breaks the law for peace must be arrested and incarcerated accordingly. Either you are PDP, APC, Labour, because violence does not breed anything other than violence and bad taste.
And our President Goodluck Jonathan has formally sent the names of 8 ministerial nominees to the Senate for confirmation as cabinet members. Topping the list is former Minister of State for Defense Musiliu Obanikoro, who is to represent Lagos State and the Federal Executive Council. There are 2 other former federal lawmakers on the list. They are Senators Patricia Akwashiki and Joel Ikenya. The remaining nominees are Professor Ada, retired Colonel Augustine Akobundo, Fidelis Nwanko, Hawalawan, and Kenneth Kobani. Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressive Congress, is demanding disciplinary action against an army general and others involved in what it called the subversion of democracy during the Ekiti state governorship elections. It also urged the Senate to reject the nomination of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro as minister based on the role he played in the matter. This was a decision taken by APC leaders at the end of the first joint leadership meeting of the party in Abuja, where a leaked audio file and footage released by an online media was played back to the gathering. Party spokesman La Mohammed presented a communique to newsmen.
The Minister of Police Affairs, Jalili Adeshian, should be immediately relieved of his ministerial appointment. Thirdly, the former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Muslim Obanikoro, who has just been renominated as to be confirmed as minister by the Senate, should not be confirmed by the Senate, and he should not be allowed to hold any public office henceforth. Thirdly, in line with the ruling of the Court of Appeal yesterday, which confirmed an earlier ruling of the Federal High Court Sokoto that the military has absolutely no business in the election management process.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has appealed to doctors in the state to reach a consensus to avoid incessant strike actions, irrespective of difference they have with the government. Fashola made his appeal at the opening of the 2050 Lagos State Council on Health meeting. Abiola Oluwoli's report is presented from our studios.
The Lagos State Council on Health is a platform for the state to present its scorecards to the operatives of the health sectors in the last 1 year. Presenting some accomplishments of the state government to the health workers in the last 365 days, Fashola disclosed that the state has improved access to qualitative healthcare delivery to residents across board. He also used the occasion to appeal to medical doctors operating in the state to always see themselves as God on earth by avoiding strike action, irrespective of grievances they have with the government or government policies.
I ask it for the public that you serve. I have said repeatedly, and I will say it again, you are like God on earth. God does not go inside. And I believe that when all is said and done, we cannot live a life without conflict and differences. But the duty to save life and the skills to do so are highly valued skills.
Despite the success witnessed in the state health sector so far, Fashola urged the medical doctors to vote for leaders that have the capacity to consolidate on the progress.
What will take us to our destination is the quality of people who manage this facility and the quality of person who leads the whole team. I urge you, please, do not entrust Lagos to a party that built one maternal center and throws a big party where you have built 7 and you are almost completing 3 more. Not to entrust Lagos to those who cannot expand a single business after 2 decades. They will not be able to undertake this expansion that Lagos needs.
The State Commissioner for Health, Jide Idris, says the state has since 1999 instituted structures that improve access of residents to healthcare delivery. The event also witnessed presentation of merit awards to Fashola on the success of the state in its health sector.
Meanwhile, Governor Fashola has restated the commitment of his administration to the realization of an integrated transportation system for residents of the state in partnership with the private sector. Fashola made the promise at the commissioning of additional 100 air-conditioned buses for the state-like bus operation. Our correspondent Abiola Oluwoli's report is presented from our studios.
Providing effective transportation for commuters in a densely populated megacity like Lagos remains a challenge. This informed the introduction of the BRT and the LAG bus systems by the state government over the years, but the need to continuously revamp and improve its operations led to the introduction of these additional 100 air-conditioned buses in partnership with the private sector. According to Governor Fashola, this will assist in boosting employment opportunities as well as fortify the operations of the LAG buses service. He, however, blames the unconducive business environment for the inability of operators of the scheme to replace aging buses.
So when people see aging buses that are not being replaced, it's not because government is not efficient. It's because the private sector is being incapacitated by financial regulations and economic policies that are not helping them to grow.
That is the reality. Because we expect them to now borrow money at 210 naira to $1 at 25%, and we expect them to buy buses and keep them at the same prices. What kind of economics is that? And then federal government has also increased. If it has not, it has announced that it will increase tariff on buses. So this is the environment in which the bus operators do business.
Fashola earlier in the day commissioned a magistrate court named after Roselyn Omotosho, a former judge in the state.
Members of the House of Representatives on Tuesday received a report on the amendment of the Constitution from the state's Houses of Assembly. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Emeka Idioha, who moved the motion for adoption of the report, says the state legislatures have contributed their own quota to the amendment process, hence the need for the lower chamber to fast-track its passage into law. Idioha called on his colleagues to study inputs made by the state houses so as to hasten the passage of the amended constitution into law. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take another break and now return with business, sport and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
In business tonight, the collateral conditions attached by the Central Bank of Nigeria for banks to access the 220 billion naira investment fund to micro, small and medium enterprise sector has been slashed by the federal government from 75% to 50%. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Olusegun Agaragan announced the decision at a press briefing held at the end of the meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Aganga said the decision is taken based on the recommendations of a subcommittee chaired by the Minister of National Planning, Suleiman Abubakar, and the contribution made by the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, during the meeting. However, based on the comments of the CBN Governor, the collateral requirements for some commercial banks, which was 75%, was difficult for them to come up with, hence being reduced to 50%. Also, all-inclusive interest rate will not exceed 9%. 60% of the fund will be made available to women. People with disability have also been prioritized in the disbursement. In a related development, the federal government says it will forward job bids to the National Assembly for enactment into law very soon, according to the report. Now, the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission on Tuesday says a total pipeline investment of $60 billion has been secured from local and foreign investors. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Saratu Maro, made this known at the headquarters of the NIPC in Abuja during an interview after she signed a memorandum of understanding with the Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Segun Awolowo. The agreement is aimed at boosting investment in the oil-led sector of the Nigerian economy. It will also enable both agencies to enhance the Nigerian investment ecosystem to attract more foreign and local direct investment to the non-oil sectors of the economy, according to the company. Omar, while giving an update of the investment drive within the last 3 years, says $20 billion has been attracted into various sectors of the economy. She listed some of the sectors where these investments have been made to include automobile, sugar, and cement, among others. Now let's join Sabena Izoko for today's stock market report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Isuku. Equity transaction on the floor, the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All Shares Index appreciated by 2.61% to close at 28,452.60 basis points. The market capitalization increased in the same manner to close at 9.49 trillion naira. In all, the total volume of 500.19 million units of shares valued at 3.49 billion naira were exchanged in 4,199 deals. Nestle topped the gainers chart to close at 791 naira 17 kobo, with a difference of 37 naira 67 kobo, followed by 7up, Total, Guinness, and Dangote Cement. On the flip side, Julius Berger topped the losers chart, followed by Capstone, Stanbic IBTC, United Africa Company Property, and United Africa Company of Nigeria. On the top trade side, Skybank topped the traders chart, followed by United Bank for Africa, Axis Bank, First City Merchant Bank, and Guarantee Trust Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Thank you, Sabina. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break shortly. We'll be back with sports stories and other stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
In sports, President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, has met with parents of some Nigerian youngsters across the top rank in England. According to Pinnick, he is meeting with the parents of a number of these youngsters this time and have plans to meet all of them and also their parents in due course, adding that he met with Kenneth Omero and Chuba Akonas, their match on Saturday. Pinnick is expected to have discussions with the parents of 18-year-old attacking midfielder Alex Nwobi of Arsenal, who has joined up with the country's Olympic team ahead of the departure from an 11th All-Africa Games qualifying match against Gabon and Libreville on Saturday, as well as former Chelsea centre-back Joshua Debayo, also 18, now on the books of another Premiership team, Southampton. Amaju says some of them might have represented England at junior level, but they are willing to represent Nigeria at senior level for the purpose of strengthening the teams at all levels. Confederation of African Football has set the date for the 2016 African Nations Championship. The tournament will be held from January 16th to February 7 in Rwanda. Rwanda Football Federation's Secretary General Oliver Molindahabi told Supersport.com they are excited about the confirmation date and looking forward to hosting a successful tournament. The three-week event will be hosted in 4 stadia across the country, including National Stadium, Amahoro, Kigali, Regional Stadium, and the newly refurbished Huye and Amuganda Stadium. Morocco, who were supposed to host the just concluded 2015 African Cup of Nations, are set to send a draft contract to FEFAWAL in a bid to partner with Rwanda to help with the preparations of this prestigious tournament. And now, Super Falcons head coach Edwin Okones had said top-grade warm-up matches are quite key to the side's successful campaign at the upcoming FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada. The African Championship is expected to open camp on Sunday, February 22 in Abuja, to commence preparation for the All-Africa Games, Olympic Games qualifiers, as well as World Cup campaign in June. Falcons are pitched in Group D at the World Cup together with former champions USA, Sweden, and Australia. Okon said he discovered that the All-Africa Games and Olympic qualifying matches against Mali are inadequate to put the side in good stead for the top football hostility at the World Cup. He says there is need for top-flight friendly matches to prepare adequately for the team. Now, FA Cup holders Arsenal will travel to Manchester United in the quarter-finals on 7 or 8 of March. United confirmed their place in the last 8 after coming from behind to win 3-1 at the Preston North End. Liverpool host Blackburn. League One giant killers Bradford City face Reading, while West Midlands rivals Aston Villa and West Brom meet at Villa Park. Morano Fellaini, who scored Manchester United's second goal against Preston, is relishing the quarter-final title against the Gunners. He says it will be a good game, a great game against Arsenal. Arsenal and United met in the 2004 and 2005 FA Cup final in Cardiff, with Gunners winning 5-4 on penalties after a goalless draw. And outside Nigeria now, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has called for a United Nations resolution mandating an international coalition to intervene in Libya after it just bombed Islamic State targets. Islamic State released a video on Sunday showing the beheading of 21 Egyptian Christians, drawing Cairo directly into the conflict across its border and raising concerns about the increasing influence of the Islamic insurgents active in Syria and Iraq. Referring to the 2011 Libyan war, in which France was part of an international coalition backing forces that deposed former leader Muammar Gaddafi, Sisi described it as an unfinished mission. Sisi called on militias to hand in their arms but called for weapons to be supplied to Libya's internationally recognized government based in the eastern city of Tobruk after rivals seized power in Tripoli. Tobruk government has already asked for the lifting of an international arms embargo to help it take back control of the country. And world powers voiced concern over a shaky truce in Ukraine that went into a third day Tuesday with no sign of a let-up in fighting for a key eastern town and no pullback of heavy weapons from the front line. The United States and Germany called for a stop to the hostilities and urged free access for OSCE monitors bloc from entering the hotspot town of Debasiv, a fiercely fought for transport hub between the rebel-held cities of Donetsk and Lugansk. Intense shelling was heard in the Debasiv area early Tuesday. Reports from the neighboring town of Soda confirmed. Rebel troops could be seen hurling artillery cannon along roads through showy countryside in sunny through freezing weather. Several thousand government troops are in Debasiv, mostly surrounded by pro-Russian rebels, manning tanks, grad multiple rocket launchers and mortars. A government official in Debasiv, Leah Ankiva, who spoke on telephone, confirmed that there was combat in the town with rebels using small arms and rocket-propelled grenades. There were casualties, but they could not give figures. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go tonight, here is a recap of a major story. We told you that APC campaign rally in Oak Creek, River State ends in mayhem as explosions rock venue. We also reported that Senate summons INEC Chairman Tahiru Jega over elections postponement. And finally, Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose dedicates Court of Appeal victory to Ekiti people. And that's been the show tonight. Of many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omape on behalf of the entire news crew. Have a good night rest.